did come to a conclusion about that one good question. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that was the important part, to be honest.
How many times have you
You know?
Actually, 100, no?
I think so.
And everywhere.
I think that helped. I mean, it clarified.
You know what I think? So actually, as important as the other things, the once a month thing at our house.
Well, you know what? She told me about that. Ross told me about that, and I was supposed to go, and I didn't go. Here's go. I was supposed to go. I didn't go because I had a problem with the file. So because I didn't go, I resolved the problem with the file, and I picked up another file. So I'm not sure if that means
don't go,
or you know what I mean. As silly as that sounds, but I also think it's because I did the other stuff too, like we talked about. I think it's the rewatching. I think it's the writing notes because I'll take notes when I'm here, and then I'll take more notes when I watch it again because something else might happen. I was talking to David, guys, while you guys were kind of wrapping up lunch, and we were kind of talking because I usually see him 2 times, sometimes 3 times in a month, believe it or not.
Nice.
And it's anywhere from an hour to 2 hours on one session, and this we're always 2 hours here. But what I've said is I've seen him on a Tuesday, then I've seen him here at the office on a Wednesday, and the framework or the tagline or the topic is the same, but it's different. I mean, that's just from one day to the next day. Or maybe it's the same, maybe he says the exact same words, but I hear it differently.
Capturing it differently.
You know, I mean, so I would definitely encourage you guys. I mean, you guys are the ones who are generally here on a regular basis. I would definitely encourage you to do coaching. I mean, I'll self-form. There's a bunch of other coaching stuff that the guy does. I would say do that with him. But if you don't, do this once a month and do coaching with somebody else. I mean, I know Felix comes in too. I had him come in, and what I like about David again is David does the coaching as far as the business is concerned and personal development, business development on your business, whether you're selling widgets, real estate, money in my case, trash bags, whatever it is, okay? And then if you've got another coach who's talking about real estate or whatever your specific medium is that you're selling, that might be a great addition too, but I would definitely utilize his services on a regular basis, but that's just me.
Well, thank you for the pitch.
There you go.
Travel with me anywhere you like.
You're hired, Mark. You're going there. How much did he pay you on this?
I got a lot. Again, in the 10 minutes we talked, I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of questions answered. That I had.
Yeah.
So.
It's been interesting journey. Interesting journey this year. This year's been interesting.
Yes, I
agree.
agree.
So I am really clueless about what topic for today. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff. There's obviously I've been doing a billion meetings here, even just in the last couple of days or whatever. So I'm loaded up on things or topics. Let me kind of throw some at you, and we'll keep it casual today.
I'm going to tell you right now. I think the foundational stuff because you get the typical, like every other coach on the planet. You get the what do I need to do to make 2020 my best year ever? You know, I used to always think that
How
stuff
did
was.
you know I was gonna ask
I
that?
used to think that stuff was cheesy, but you know what's funny, guys? I think for me personally, with 2019, I've done more coaching this year than I've ever done in the past, and I see it's made a massive difference. Even though I've lost money on some deals, I've picked up on others. I mean, really.
That's the way it goes.
You know, I mean, I think I've gotten more pluses, but I'm gonna say the basics. I think the basics, what you can do. Forget that it's the fourth quarter. Forget that 2020 is around the corner here. What can I do? You know, on March 31st, it's gonna help me with my business. The same thing I can do on January 1st.
Yeah, the conversation I just had. I was out in Johnny Maldonado's office in his Remax in Montana, right? Mm-hmm. And that was exactly the topic at 11 a.m. this morning was. You know, he wanted to talk about 2020 mindset for 2020. And I said the mindset for 2020 is, you know, kind of a stupid topic because the only thing that really matters is what's the mindset for today, right? The mindset for today determines the future. And then you just have to, so we spent time on what should you do today was kind of that topic. I can do with you that. If you guys want, I can do the most, we didn't last, I don't even remember what we did last month. Did we do the 2020 business plan last month?
Yes.
Yeah, we did the business
one-pager, right?
Yeah.
We could do, I don't really care what we do, actually, to be honest with you. If you want to talk more.
Was that good? Yes. Oh, you don't need a recap or anything?
No, Esther, you should show up, Esther, once a month. Because this is scheduled, months in advance. This is scheduled months in advance. Everybody knows the day and time.
You
But no
just
big
said
deal.
you hear things twice differently.
Not be on
Oh,
vacation.
you're recording.
So I'll give you some choices. You guys pick. I'm not obsessing over anything right now. We could do more marketing scripts to create hot leads now. That's a fun topic, right? We can do a little more on, I can share with you my own business plan for 2020, and you can model it if you want. I mean, I know we did a little bit of that last time, but I'll share with you the tweaks to, not that my business matters to you so much, but it's, look, I'm building a business just like you're building a business, so if you're asking me what I'm doing this time of year, I think it's kind of what everybody else should be doing this time of year.
Like
sort of.
the people you coach, like your top producers, can you want to kind of share what they've been doing or doing different or gonna do or been doing and they're still on top?
Yeah, okay,
And
that's a
then-
good topic, yeah.
And then how much you should reinvest, or what percentage
You
is
reinvest in
pretty good
business.
back
Okay.
into the business
Let's-
to
let's-
grow it quicker.
Let's start with both of those. Let's start with both of
That's
those
a
a
good
little
one.
bit.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
How much do you reinvest?
And respond with when you reinvest in your business and reinvest in yourself too. Because those are two different things.
Can somebody write this down so I don't miss both? Reinvesting, number one, and what was the one?
Like your top, one of your top producers,
Top
like
producers. Okay, let's
What
start
are
with the
they
top.
doing?
Let's start with the top producer. In a way, it's the same question
right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure
Because
they're
the
doing
answer to the question is the top producers reinvest in their business. Period.
Yeah.
Listen to me on this one. This is a juicy topic. So there is a difference between a sales professional and a business owner. Or let me put it more bluntly for you guys. There's a huge difference between a realtor and a business owner. Shall I replace business owner with high producer? Realtors are not high producers. Business owners are high producers. The difference between the two is, I always say when I meet people the first time, I say it's leverage. That sales professionals don't believe in leverage, don't understand the importance of it. They're like operators. They're like, if anything has to improve my business, the only person that can make it better is me. If I want to make more money, I have to work harder. Nobody can do it as well as I can, therefore I'm not going to get any help. I'm not going to, I don't run my business runs me. All that kind of stuff is the operator. That's the realtor, that's the salesperson. The business owner is different. The business owner says, I believe in leverage. The business owner says, my entity has nothing to do with my identity. The business owner says, my entity has nothing to do with my identity. The business owner says, my entity, the more I can get away from it, the better off it will be. The business owner says, if I want my business owner does two things. They look at numbers or metrics, and then they go employ people to improve those metrics. That's what a business owner does. Business owner needs a scoreboard, and then people to move the scoreboard. People not named me, if you know what I mean, right? The business owner says leverage is everything. Leverage means small investment, high return. Leverage means small investment of time or money to achieve a high return of net profit, right? So if you're asking what do the great producers do, or the people that I privately coach that are all high end, right? I privately do Christian and Jeanette again. I'm privately doing like the Jose Marises and the Julio and Jeanette Ariases and the Lynn Munger Perry who's like doing unbelievable, crazy stuff, right? But they reinvest more than everybody else. It's not close, okay? Before this year started, I probably did this during the business plan, and I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way. I don't mean to be prideful, I don't. I'm just telling you the truth. Before the year started, I put down as you remember, the goals that excited me, I put down 7 figures and 2.5 week vacations. We're gonna fall just short of the 7 figures. Let me repeat it, just short. Big improvement this year. The last 5 months are well ahead of 7-figure pace. Okay? This is a first for me. I love this. If I would have known 25 years ago that I could start my own business and do something I like and produce like that, I'd have frickin' done it in my 20s. I wouldn't have had no cojones until I was 46 or whatever, right? So even though I'm running around acting like the big shot who knows what he's doing building a business, it took me till age 46 to do it. So most people I coach have more balls than I do, younger, if you know what I mean, right? Pardon the language. But the point of the matter is, so maybe you should ask me what increased in my business, honestly, because we increased a lot, and I'm supposed to model it for people. But the answer to that is very simple. We reinvest big time. I was just explaining to Mark, I'm like, Mark, if you take RAS out, don't include RAS. My monthly payroll now is $22,000. Not including me, not including RAS, I'm at $22K. And I'm just one coach. That's a lot of overhead. That's a lot of reinvestment. Want to see where the sales are now? Does this make sense? And I'm not saying we hire 1 billion people and suddenly the sales, it doesn't work like that. It's more like this bloody mess, right? Where your sales go up, so you get help to handle something, and then your sales go up a little more and you get a little more help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But let's start with reinvesting. Is there a way to knock that thing off? No?
Yes, sorry.
I think it has
Is
the
there
volume at the bottom,
room,
no?
is there room by you, Donna?
Donna, behind you?
So I probably shared this before. I'll share it again. There are only three things you can reinvest in that have a high return on investment in business. Now, if you go on the internet and go, how do I reinvest in my business? And then you go to Google Images, all you're gonna see are marketing and people in that order. And I don't agree. I don't agree. The number one highest return on investment by far is coaching and mentoring. Because the only reason my business is growing like crazy is because I coach and mentor with people that do way bigger things than me. Okay, I told you the story about how much I spent to coach with this guy back in 2013 and 14, but what you don't know is who I've been reading and what videos and tapes I've been watching, and I may work very hard in my coaching business, but I study even harder, and you don't. No disrespect, but you can't build a business if you're not changing you. You just can't. I'll tell you what I've been reading lately. What I've been reading lately are, and I'm not saying this like you're not and I am, I'm just saying that to get under your skin so you take action, right? But the people that I've been reading and studying lately are all intentionally chosen because they're on my list from my business plan of people that I want to change me this year, okay? So where is the path? I always had Jesus number one, but you know, that probably is not gonna change anytime soon. Although I was at the house last week and somebody was in the group and said, well, can I put you on the list? And I said, yeah, sure, I would be honored, thank you. And they said, okay, and it was Brenda Molesky, and she said, I'd like to put Jesus on the list too, and I said, don't you dare put him after me. Okay, that's creepy. Okay, so, but, you know, I have like Tony Robbins and, you know, and John Maxwell and my old business coach, Keith Cunningham, people like that were on my list, right? But when they're on my list, I take my list seriously, because those are the people I'm gonna obsess over for 12 months. I mean obsess over. Books, tapes, CDs, videos. So be careful who you choose, and then use it. So for me, two of the people on my list this year well, they're all intentional, but one is, I pick, you don't have to pick mine, but I picked Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, not because of personal qualities and characteristics, I don't really care for him. But man, does that guy think big, and man, does he innovate. And he's got courage, okay? So I've been reading and watching and listening to a lot of his stuff. Right now I'm reading one of the authorized biographies of him called The Everything Store, and he's a total maniac. I don't really like him, but there are certain qualities of him that, you know what happens when you start reading about all his ridiculous risk-taking and his ridiculous reinvesting. I mean, remember, Amazon lost money in 13 of its first 21 years in spite of a ridiculously successful business model, which means he reinvested more than they made. So he kept going all in and raising money. He's a maniac. What makes great high produce? Well, he's the wealthiest guy in world history. So what makes him the wealthiest guy in world history? 100% reinvestment, and also innovation, nonstop innovation. He says his 3 secrets of success, by the way, are number 1, customer orientation. He always wants to please customers. Number 2, long-term over short-term. In other words, I don't care if I reinvest everything and make very, very little in the short term. I hope you caught that, because you don't think that way, and that's why you're paycheck to paycheck. That's why he's ridiculously wealthy, because he doesn't care about being ridiculously wealthy in the short term.
Right.
Make sense? And number 3 is innovation always.
Isn't he investing in mortgage? And isn't he trying to, I read somewhere that he was
So
trying
right now he's got that project to try to get man on Mars, so he's competing literally with Elon Musk. And he's winning the race. It's totally insane, right? I mean,
What
like,
was number 3, I'm sorry?
innovation always, innovate always. Like, think of the innovate always is very obvious. In the beginning, and didn't talk Bezos last month, did I? Let's talk Bezos for a minute, because this will also get you into what top producers do and how they think. Let me tell you a little of his backstory, and then we'll come back to the top 3 ways to invest, okay? Bezos. So he's 20-something years old, and he gets a job on Wall Street for an investment firm called Desco. The owner of Desco is an older businessman named Alan Kay, okay? Kay is kind of a technology, kind of a nerdy guy, right? Who gets from it's early on in the internet, but he gets the power of the internet early on, and so did
I'll
Bezos.
jump in real quick because I know this story
Okay.
from something else I read. That the dude he's talking about, super tech guy actually back at that time. Okay, so more tech guy than Jeff Bezos is. So keep going.
Yeah, both those guys more
Super tech.
Both those guys kind of more tech than finance, right? But here they are, and so what does this guy Alan Kay do? He starts hanging out with young Bezos, who's just out of college, okay, and spending all kinds of time behind closed doors with the newest member of his firm, brainstorming business ideas, and both of them obsess over inventing and creating the store that sells everything. And both of them come to this conclusion together, and they're all fired up. Now I want you to imagine, here's some experienced Wall Street guy hanging out with this young kid. What the heck is in Bezos' mindset that he's talking about gargantuan ideas like this and impressing the boss so much the boss wants to hang out with him, and he's the youngest guy in the Wall Street firm? Who thinks that big? Where did that dude come from, for Pete's sakes, right? So they both decided they wanted, they both not only bought into the internet early on that the whole world's going to go there for communication, but they also bought early on that the world's going to go there to transact. And what if we could become the middleman on all of the world's transactions online? What a totally insane idea, but look kind of what they're doing. Is it insane? Who thinks like that? Okay, how about this one? So Amazon opens its doors. It hasn't made any money yet, hasn't sold anything yet, and Bezos comes up with a name for the company. And the quote is insane. The quote is, when somebody asked him, why did you name it Amazon? He said, I have to read it to you, it's so stupid. Listen to this. I wrote it down because I just thought it was just insane. This is a quote, ready? This is Bezos at age 20-something. This is not only the largest river in the world, it's many times larger than the next biggest river. It blows the other rivers away. Who thinks like that? Who's like, I'm gonna name my new company that hasn't done anything yet based on the river that blows all other rivers away? Who thinks that big? Answer, he does. Crazy? His new motto in the beginning, get big fast. Get big fast. The bigger the company got, he said, the lower the prices it could get from its book distributors and the more distribution capacity it could afford. Bezos preached urgency, urgency, urgency. The company that got the lead would likely keep it. Okay, everybody teaches you, don't get big fast, be careful. Just because you're big doesn't mean you're profitable. It's all bullshit. He's right. Get big fast, grow. What are you waiting for? No, it doesn't have to be perfect and efficient. Everybody says, just because you're doing a lot of sales doesn't mean you're making a lot of profit. Bullshit. It almost always means you're making a ton of profit. What are people afraid of? Okay? So, first of all, what separates the people that are doing the big things from the small is they think bigger. They expect bigger, and the reason they do is their identity is bigger. Right? My question for you is, who do you think you are? And that answers what your business looks like. It's really that simple. The only thing that changed in my business this year was, you heard the story, I went on vacation and I got really disgusted with where my business was at, even though where my business was at was a dream for me 5 years ago. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the only reason my appetite changed was because I'm hanging around with, I'm hanging around with Jeff Bezos. Have I ever met him? No. Will I ever meet him? No. Do I care? No. As long as I read him and listen to him and watch him, I'm going to become like him. Jim Rohn got it right. He's the old mentor when he was alive to Tony Robbins.
He's my
Les Brown,
mentor.
and all these guys. Yeah, Jim Rohn got it right when he said you are the sum of the 5 people that surround you the most. So choose the 5 people carefully. The number one highest reinvestment in business by far is coaching and mentoring.
Yeah.
You can pay for it. You can also get it for free. You can do both if you want. It doesn't matter. Interesting? I'm also hanging out with Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek. Why? Because that guy is a leverage and delegation maniac. He believes in automation. He believes in, I must own a business and do zero in the business, except for like look at the bank account. And I must go live abroad all the time because that's what I love doing, and try really crazy adventurous experiences. I want to lead a lot of he has great podcasts online too. I want to obsess over
What's
him
his
for this
name?
year.
Tim
Tim
Ferriss.
Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss?
He's the
Ferriss.
guy that does the 4-Hour Workweek book. That's him.
4 hour.
So do you understand why I chose these people? Because I don't really care about Tim Ferriss, but there are qualities of his that I want to embrace. So who you choose to study from matters a ton, right? My business life changed forever because I spent 120 grand in 2 years on a business coach who shared with me not 2 months ago-ish that he's now worth 9 figures in net worth at age 70. Okay, well if you hang out with that guy long enough, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to expect bigger of yourself and think bigger. I'm the same guy. I'm the same person. But if I hang out with people like that all the time, I'm not going to be satisfied just doing a coaching business or having 42 clients or whatever like I used to have. It ain't good enough anymore, right? We just broke 100. I'm working with 100 clients one-on-one now, in addition to doing the speaking events. In addition, and now we're at 200 people on the database program, and we're at 50 on the social media. We want to get both to 500. Interesting? That's it. That's it. Oh, by the way, why 500 each? Because that's a stepping stone to 50,000. I don't care what the number's going to be. We're going to grow it. Why do we want to grow it? Because it's a challenge. Because we should run a company like that. Right? Any of this make any sense? Your number one highest return on investment is got to be coaching and mentoring. And it's not good enough that you're just driving from appointment to appointment and not listening to something good. That's not acceptable. You can't change. Your business is not going to change. You're just going to go up and down with the tide. Right? You'll just go right back down anyway when it chills out a little bit here, right? That's not good. That's not the exercise, okay? Second highest return on investment is not marketing still, it's people. It's people. And here's the way I like to hire. So this is why when we did the one-page business plan last time, this is why I love for you to all jot down what are the 5 things that you want to delegate off your plate. But let's take it a step further right now. Okay, it's not good enough to just write down what are the things you want to delegate. It's also you want to write how much do I want to pay for each one of those things. And you choose. Nobody chooses but you because it's your business. So for example, I'll give you a couple of recent examples for me, right? I wanted to hire somebody to book speaking events because we're doing lunch and learns and it's becoming a big part of our business now or whatever. So, but you know, Roz is busy selling and I have, I don't know how many people are on my team now, 14, 15. They're all busy like heck right now. So there's nobody with the time to book speaking events. There's nobody, we have people that want the speaking events. We just don't call them. At our own event, we said, anybody want free lunch and learn with David Halpern? Tell that person in red in the back of the room. And Roz got 16 people, came up to her and gave her names and phones and I want to do a lunch and learn. We haven't called any of them yet. 0. As of today, 0. The event was 2 months ago, 1 month ago.
You're fired.
Right?
Why haven't you done that?
Because I don't have a person to do it. Nobody has time. Because we're so stretched with this stuff. So what do we have to do to fix that problem? Hire somebody to do what? So this is the way realtors think. Realtors think, well, if I'm going to hire money, and I'm afraid to spend money on anything because I live paycheck to paycheck and I'm always fearful about money. So if I invest in somebody, let me see if I can find the cheapest person. So let me get a high school kid and pay him $9 an hour. And then let me give him 30 things to do, which is totally freaking stupid because you can't do 3 things. You're going to get them to do 30, right? My attitude is I want to get a rock star and I want to give him 1 job and I want to pay him small part-time money for it. That's it. That's it. So we hired somebody. I hired a woman, Honey Newlander. Honey is a playwright who lives in the San Fernando Valley. I get on a Zoom call with her. She applies for a customer service role with me on Upwork, right? Because I put ads on Upwork constantly. I'm talking to her on a Zoom call and I'm like, she's super smart. She's like way overqualified. The only reason she's at home and not doing the corporate thing is because she's got 2 young kids. But she's super smart, right? So I'm like, I don't really care what role I give her, okay? So I'm like, honey, do you want to do my book the speaking event thing? She's like, yeah, that sounds like fun, I'll do it. Great. So what happens after I hire her? Within days, there's all these things booked. That's how it works when you hire the right person. That makes sense? What am I paying her for? $750 a month, which is a high rate for me to start somebody at. I just pay flat, I pay by month, and all I want her to do is booking speaking events, but she's already asking me, is there anything else you'd like me to do? I'm like, sure. Interesting? Okay? Okay. Write down 5 things. I know you might have done it last time, but I'm going to test you to see if you remember it now. Write down 5 things you'd like to delegate in the next 12 months. And if you're like, I don't know if I want to do 5 in the next 12 months, okay, fine. What 5 things you want to delegate in the next 5 years? I'll help you with this one. You don't have to pick these, but a lot of people that I coach will pick things like database, number 1 answer, follow up, very common answer, social media, very common answer, housekeeping, very common answer, meal prep, very common answer, TC work, very common answer on the lending side, Mark. Everybody's saying things like, chasing docs and disclosures, that one I get a lot. And when people put that one down, I tell them, if you don't do that one like ASAP, you're an idiot. You must delegate someone chasing docs and disclosures. The return on investment for getting that off your plate is huge. You'll do way more business because you got that crap off your plate.
That was one of the first things, unfortunately, I was trying not to.
Yeah.
But obviously, as agents, we have to be involved in writing an offer. But I look at it like, to me, I'd rather focus on finding clients than doing that part that's just not productive. I mean, that's the way I see it.
That's right. Or you could dictate to someone here to write the offer for this, and have somebody. You could get a strong TC to write your offers for you and pay them extra money outside of what they do. Food for thought. Find the rock star in the office, because they'll get stuff done really fast, and they're always looking for extra money. Who said you have to hire them full time for you? I don't care if my people do other stuff. I don't care. I just want my stuff done. Interesting. Okay. So jot down the 5 things. Now, here's what I want to test you on. Are you ready? Next to those things that you wrote down, write how much money would you be willing to pay on a monthly basis right now to have somebody do that? And if you're, per month. The reason I don't care about hours is irrelevant. It doesn't mean results. I just mean somebody that's doing it well. How much would you pay them per month? So, for example, for speaking events, my number was 500, by the way, not 750. I paid her 750 because I respected her background and I knew I was going to dump something else on her at some point anyway. But I was telling Mark before, I noticed the sweet spot for me is giving people 1 or 2 tasks max. Whenever I give them more than 2, they start stinking, or things just slip through the cracks, or they just don't do it. They don't do it, right? So booking speaking events was a big one. Another one was we needed to hire somebody for onboarding new clients. So like at our event, 75 people sign up for products at our event. How long does it take us to get back to those 75 and say, here's what we need for you to get started, right? And the answer is, it takes too long. So you may even know her, Mark. We hired somebody from the Keller Williams office who's a part-time agent in Whittier to do it for us as an onboarding part-time, because I've known her for a couple of years and she's got a good personality and she knows Lion Desk big time, which is great, right? So we hired somebody part-time and I'm paying her to do it. Interesting. But she knows me, she knows Roz, she's been on the product, by the way, for 1.5 years or something like this, right? So she's an interesting hire, right? And she's got a real estate business going, but she's kind of a light volume realtor and she's got kids at home too, and I'm thinking she might want to do with us more. I don't know, I could be wrong. Who knows? Interesting. I'm not coaching there anymore anyway, so I don't really care if I hire one of their people, okay? But my number for that one was $750 a month. That was my number for the onboarding role. That's what I am comfortable paying for that role. Right now, I'll take somebody. Interesting? Write down those numbers. Now, if you say, I want follow-up, for example, bless you.
Excuse me.
And you're like, honestly, even though I think it's worth more than this, I'm comfortable, to be perfectly honest, only paying $100 a month, put $100 a month. This is your business. This isn't their business. Their numbers do not matter. Interesting? Let's just say, for example, I talked to this gal about the onboarding role, and I said, I'm willing to pay $750 for it. And let's say her questions are, well, how many hours do you think it'll take? Do you think that'll be enough for the role? Can you make it 1,000? My answer is no. The end. Next. Why? It's my business. It's not their business. Does that make sense? So the beauty of building your own business is, honestly, everyone in this room, I don't care what your volume is, you can hire all 5 of those things this year. Your problem is you think you need to spend $1 gazillion for each one of them. That's because you think you need to hire one person to do 42 things and then you have to overpay them. No, you can hire one person to do one thing and pay them a couple $100 a month at the end. It'll get done better anyway because they can't hide. They're the only person doing it. And they don't have anything else going on. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay? So if you say we're doing the follow-up product for $199 a month right now. And Roz is doing cheaper if you prepay. You can do follow-up now. And our follow-up gals do phone, text, and email to chase people. You know what's kind of cool about having it be an outsider is they don't really care what your people think. They chase, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you who's like, should I call them again? Hey. That's why you can't build a business, because you don't think like that, right? Okay. So leverage and delegation is kind of important. What would you pay? I just got off a phone call with one of my private coaching clients. And she said, I want to do database badly, and I think I'm willing to pay $500 a month. I'm like, so why don't you just pay us, because it's like $50 a month. Yeah. What are you waiting for? It's like, I don't get that one, right? Anyway, that's a whole other story. Okay, let's go to, but I want to talk about marketing. You're saying the third piece is marketing. It's the third highest return on investment. If you ask me, what do I want to invest in first, a person or a marketing channel? I want the rockstar person. Because people make results. Okay? When people say, I need a system in my business, I'm like, no, you need a person. They bring their own system. Okay? But number 3 is the marketing. So what makes the difference between a producer and the crazy high-end producers is they do way more marketing. It's not close. Why does Angel do 100 and something transactions a year?
Marketing.
Because he does way more marketing than anybody else in this room.
Signs, everything.
The signs are everywhere. How many signs does he put up every day? What do you got? The 2 people with the vans?
Hundreds.
Probably like 150, no? Or
Hundreds,
more?
yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it's 100 plus signs per van. No?
Mhm.
I don't know if that's right.
It's like 300 signs.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
understanding. It was like 300 signs. So how many days did the 300 signs go up?
Well, at least 5 times.
5 days a week. How many signs do you put up?
I put some.
So okay, what else does Angel do? Direct mail, right?
Direct mail.
Okay, how many pieces of direct mail does he send out?
Like 5,000.
5,000 per month?
On
Okay.
average.
Good, so 5,000 a month. Now, FYI on that number, I used to privately coach Letitia and Alberto Sotomayor. At the time they were Remax, now they're KW or something. They're in Chino, okay? And they were doing 5,000 mailers a month in their farm right there in Chino. They averaged 1 listing a week. They had 50, the year I was coaching, they did 50 or 52 listings. All from that one little market. And their big things were 5,000 mailers a month to the same 5,000 houses or area, right?
Oh, farm.
Plus open houses with the signs like crazy. Sort of similar to here, but they didn't do the craziness like Angel does.
I was working with a gentleman. He was just doing sporadic. He wasn't actually doing farming. He was doing 15,000 a month.
15,000.
But like you said, they get 1 or 2 deals. They already make up. Like he was spending probably about 7,000-8,000 a month.
That's right. So you get 1 deal, you break even, or you make
more, yeah.
some money because your price points are decent here, right? You still
Yeah.
make money on it with 1 deal. But remember, Letitia and Alberto with 5,000 were getting a listing almost weekly.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot of return on investment.
Yeah,
That's a high
Yeah.
one. So marketing is a big one. So look, the business plan that we did last week or last month or whatever it was what are your 3 marketing channels, your primary marketing channels, along with, and I don't know if we got in this level of detail, but in my own business plan, for example, for next year, it's already complete, except for one thing I'm debating and arguing with my wife over. It's a good argument, the thing about living for a month abroad. We're just debating whether we should do it or not, right? That's, anyway. But in our marketing channels, I'm gonna share with you what I put in there from mine. Not that you should mirror mine, but I want to give you an idea of just how the thinking behind it, okay? For each marketing channel, you need a number. The number should be an activity metric. Let me use an Angel example. 300 signs, 6 days a week. That's a marketing channel with an activity metric. It's not how many deals do I want to get from it, it's what do I have to do? What's the work involved, right? So let me give you mine. We're starting to get to a point, it's getting a little creepy actually, weird. Speaking events for us are starting to, it looks like they're going to become our number 1 and it's been number 3 for the last 5 years, but it's changing for whatever reason. We do speaking events and people sign up for tons of stuff, it's crazy, okay? So, on my plan, speaking events is, I still put it as my number 3, but speaking events dash 80. 80 meaning I want to do 80 speaking events, lunch and learns. Lunch and learns plus our bigger events, which we're only going to do 2 or 3 of those big ones. But 80 speaking events, 20-person or more speaking events, or whatever you want to call it, during the year, whereas this year, we're going to probably end at about 20. Got it? So why is this important? Because it's an activity, I can control that. And number 2 is, we're going to do way more next year, so my business should be a little different. You follow? Does that make sense? Like we have a speaking event tomorrow, we have another speaking event on Friday. Interesting. It's a new rhythm for us. We had 2 last week and they were both gold mines for us. That make sense? So you gotta take your marketing channels that work and you gotta blow them up. You just gotta blow them up. We're not doing anything innovative, we're just growing it. Okay? So, and everything, there's a trade-off, if that makes sense. So what are we giving up in order to make the time for more speaking events? And the answer is in-person coaching. I'm just letting people expire and we're just like, hey, switch to Zoom. I'll do it from home. Okay, so there's less and less of us on the road. It's moving faster and faster now because we want more speaking events. Those things are insane. Make sense? Okay, and we're starting to get some bigger stuff. Okay, so for us, we have database is another one. And we need to talk database and social media for another minute or 2. So database has been our bread and butter. And social media has been our bread and butter. You could put those as separate marketing channels if you want, or you can combine it, right? Let me start with database. So we use LionDesk, okay? And the number I have next to database for 2020 is 2,000. And it's an activity number. And what it means is, we're gonna send out 2,000 sales messages, right? Monthly, by text or email or a combination. That's it. Does that make sense? So yeah, we'll send out content and videos and and messages and stuff to warm people up, but my metric, you don't have to mirror this one or copy this. There has to be an activity metric. For me, the most important activity metric is how many times we ask. So you guys have seen all our cheesy scripts like, hi Sue, any interest in one-on-one coaching, or now we're doing one, any interest in having us manage your database for you and get leads for you for $650 for a year, or whatever Ross sends out, right? Now, 2,000 a month. So I told my team, because I don't send them, right? My team does. I want to average 2,000 a month between LionDesk, text, and email. So my team, I guess, got a little excited, and they sent out 6,700 emails last Monday, in one day. Okay? So, are you ready for the results of the email chaos? So, but do you understand, all I care about is that we send out 2,000 a month. That's my database. If we do 2,000 a month for all of next year, that's 24,000 in a year. Well, for this year, in case you're curious, the average, it's something like 10,000. So we're gonna more than double our database if we do that. So here's what happens last Monday. We send out 6,700 emails with the same message. Hi, Sue. Any interest in having us manage your database and blah, blah, blah. And the moment we did it, boom, it started. Bridget LaPointe, unsubscribed. Gloria Alcazar, unsubscribed. Madeline Shea, unsubscribed. I like Madeline, she unsubscribed. Alejandra Corona, unsubscribed. Sarah Mahong, unsubscribed. Rosie Garcia, unsubscribed. Andrea Bustos, I've known her for 4 years, she unsubscribed. I'm gonna kill her. Okay, Will Kalale, unsubscribed. It goes on and on and on. So my question for you is, what would you do if you saw that as a realtor?
Freak out.
Freak out.
Oh my God, what are they doing?
What did I do?
Because
How do I get them back?
you attach your self-worth to the marketing responses. Your identity has absolutely nothing to do with marketing response. Okay? Let me take you through the numbers. Are you ready? Write these numbers down. Not that my numbers matter, but I want you to visualize this. We sent out a little over 6,700 emails. So write down 6,700. This was last Monday. Email. Okay? 1,500, I'm not giving you an exact number. The last number we saw was 1,350 as of a few days ago. So I'm making up what I think the final answer is about. Okay, I don't know the exact final numbers. About 1,500 of them were opened.
Damn.
We were at 1,350 as of a few days ago. Just say 1,500-ish.
1,500.
Okay? what percentage of the emails were opened? And the answer is something in the low 20% range.
That's huge.
That's huge, right?
Okay, so what is normal out there? Well, depends on who you ask. Some people would say 5%, some people would say 20 to 30 is a normal range. Doesn't matter. I just want you to understand. Now, whether your answer is 5% or even 25% or whatever, right? Let me tell you what I'm trying to get at. Most realtors I work with are like, they send out messages and then they're like, ugh, I don't know if maybe I should wait a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 100 years until I send the next message out. Stupid. Why? Because most of your database didn't look at it anyway? Well, let me take that back. Most of your database didn't open the email, but even if they didn't open the email, they may have seen your name as it floated through their little thing, and that's cool too. Because the purpose of marketing is for you to be the last person in your profession to ping them, P-I-N-G. So if they decide they want to buy a house or sell a house or whatever, or maybe somebody they know was talking to them about buying or selling, you want to be the last person in your profession that pinged them. And I don't care if the ping was an email, a phone call, a text, an email they didn't open, I don't care. Got it? But does everybody realize we could send the same message out by email again pretty quickly, and it won't matter because 5,200 people didn't look at it anyway? You with me? Now let's take the 1,500. How many unsubscribes did we end up with? Well, as of a few days ago, we were at 35. So let's say 40 unsubscribes. Right? Is that good? Is that bad? Is that whatever? So you got 1,500 opens, 40 unsubscribes. That might be 2.5% unsubscribe. Is that good? Is that bad? And my answer as a business owner is, I don't give a shit. Pardon my language. I don't care what the number is. Unsubscribes are a cost of doing business. Does that make sense?
True.
In case you're curious, a typical range, pardon my language, a typical range is 3 to 8%. So a typical unsubscribe rate is 5%. So what happens if you send out 1,000 emails or whatever, right? And you get your 5%, you get 50. Let's say you get 100 of them unsubscribed. What do I say to you as a coach? My answer to you as a coach is, I don't really care. The reason you freak out about it is very simple. Because you never get new leads. That's why. The reason you freak out about an escrow with a problem is because you don't have any other freaking escrows. The reason you freak out about people unsubscribing from your database is because every realtor I know has like 150 names in their database total. And if God forbid 15 of them leave, now their database is getting closer to oblivion. I don't give a crap because I'm out getting cards every day. Every day. New cards, new cards, new cards. I dare you to unsubscribe. Now, there's a lender in the Inland Empire, Rami Suribari. He comes to the house a couple weeks ago and he says something funny. He says, a couple of days ago, somebody unsubscribes from my email and then calls me up a few days later and refers me a deal. And I got on the phone, I asked him, why do you unsubscribe from my email? And he said, because I didn't want to get your emails. Sometimes you're overthinking it.
That's true. Yeah.
Holy moly, you people are, your life, your whole sense of identity and worth comes from somebody unsubscribing from an email. You must be bigger than your database, people. Great producers are much bigger than their marketing. That's all. That's all. Step up. I don't care. Do we get haters on occasion? Do we get somebody that complains about our products on occasion? I was solving a customer complaint myself day before yesterday from one of our products. The same product that a lot of people are saying is really great. It is what it is. It's a cost of doing business. Your business doesn't grow. You're trying so hard to avoid now. Know that you have successfully avoided yes. That's the problem. Great people do way more marketing, not a little more. And your problem is you're afraid to do any. I'm exaggerating for some of you, but you know what I mean. I'm just trying to push you. Cool? Because that's the game. The game is just to be fearless. The game is to recognize that who you are as an individual is determined by, in my opinion, somebody a little more powerful than this nonsense. Okay? But you're not going to build the business you desire without pushing buttons. Okay? Oh, by the way, would I say 1,500 emails were opened? How many unsubscribes?
43.75.
We got 32 leads. 32 leads from people interested in doing our database program. What's the next problem we got?
Too many leads.
Too many leads coming in one day, and now I got Roz responding to them too slowly, and then she's getting help from somebody else on the team, and we're not responding to it quickly. And then Roz talks to them, and some of them are not as warm leads, so then they don't trust us, like if we're going into an office or people know us or whatever. So it requires more explanation. Roz's calendar is so full, she doesn't have the time to really take a lot of time to do this. So now we got to think about, okay, what do we do about this one? We got to add, do we need to add someone to sale? Do we need to put them on a webinar where I'm explaining it so we can do it in a group because I don't have the time to do them one by one? What do we do? This is business.
Video message. Boom, here you go. You have questions? Here's the top 10 questions that get asked about this program.
Yeah.
Watch the video. David will explain it.
We do that, and they still don't close. I mean, it helps. I love that stuff. I appreciate that, Mark. We have the video. We send him the video, but it still takes the process and time.
The person.
And now I've got one person who's selling who doesn't want to spend that amount of time on cold selling. So Raj just wants to go run around to events with me because it's basically taking orders, right? Which I get.
It's more effective.
It's more effective, right? It's leverage. It's smaller investment, great big return. Make sense? So what's cool is as you really throw up the marketing, you start taking your old marketing, you start ditching some of it because it's not as good as the other marketing. Because we don't have time for that stuff, right? Does that make sense, any of this stuff? Okay. So let's go back to marketing now. You got to take your marketing channels and come up with an activity metric that blows away 2019. So for us, the database number is 2,000 texts and emails through Lion Desk every month. Okay, I don't mean like socializing messages. I mean direct ask messages. Mm-hmm. For social media, we put 3,000, which is very aggressive for us. So through Facebook Messenger, Instagram direct messaging, and LinkedIn email. I'm not talking about the postings. That's over and above it. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the actual messages that we send out one by one, to create leads through those. 3,000 a month. Do you realize that if we just have a normal response rate, we're going to get about 50 leads a month from that? 50.
More than you know.
It's more than we need, right? So, by the way, the emails here are all the others, like, the replies that were positive one. And Winifred Maurus, I know Winifred, she used to be in a group. Hi there, good to hear from you. What are the payment options? How do I see that the system works, right? Susie Trinidad. Hi, hello David, I would like to meet with you. This is a broker, so this has nothing to do with the database. So she doesn't care about the data program, she's interested in coaching. Right. And you're worried about segment. This is a Keller Williams thing, I can't stand it. It's like, in Keller Williams, they all want to segment their database. Let's get the buyers in a nice little bucket, and the sellers in a nice little bucket, and my Zillow leads in a nice little bucket, so I don't accidentally send the wrong message to the wrong people. That's stupid.
That's me.
Okay, yeah, that's overkill.
That's mine. And David, I say it because when I'm at an open house, sometimes certain clients, and it depends on what open house clients you're servicing. So if I'm servicing Friendly Hills, they're very particular about giving you information, and then you kind of dig in and they finally say, I will give you my name, but you will not send me anything. Only if there's a house.
Right.
And I say, okay, I promise you I'm not gonna send you anything, give me your number, I promise you I'm not gonna so I want no spam, nothing. They kind of tell me up
So if you do that, you keep the card, you don't put them in the database, you call them only or something, right?
Okay.
But the database is, if you're gonna have to spend time, like, what happens? Everybody that's in our program that has this bucket, this bucket, this bucket, they never call us, they never send anything out.
Yeah.
Because they're too busy trying to think of what should be the perfect thing to send out to this particular, they never do anything. My favorite story you've already heard is Zach Bushy in Southland Properties, Daniel Boyer's office up in Claremont, called us up with a customer complaint. You sent out my buyer's message to everyone, which was a mistake and we shouldn't have, because he asked us not to. And then he got a reply back, Zach, can you call me? And he signed a $1.4 million listing. Oh, wow. So $30,000 in commissions later, Zach gets it. Your problem, if we had just sent out the database message to people that are interested in database, this reply was, I want to talk to you. What she meant was about coaching for her and her realtors. Stop thinking, people. I send out messages for the database. I get people interested in coaching. I send out coaching. People are asking about the database or social media. Or can you come do a lunch and learn event? Or can you do a speaking event, right? We just got one that came back in where we're doing a speaking event for Pacific Coast Title. And it's going to be the entire, Southern California region or something. So now we're the keynote speaker, and we're doing I'm doing 6 hours of talk time with them at an event in January, right? Okay, and that came from us sending out a database message. any interest in doing blah, 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 signing up and doing the database? And the reply back was, David, can I talk to you about doing a whatever? And Roz signed it up, and we're getting paid for the event, and we can sell our products there. Interesting? Stop thinking. Stop thinking. Great. The highest producers market far more and care far less. That makes sense? I'm not saying don't be, sensitive to people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, don't worry about the results. It's a numbers game.
How do you feel about trying to I'm creating a Facebook, trying to make it business and family both, but would it be right to ask people that you're meeting in open houses to add, or can you connect that?
So meeting at open houses and trying to add them to the database or whatever?
Or trying to add them to your personal Facebook.
Can I answer that real quick?
Yeah.
Just do it. They're gonna accept you as a friend or they're not. And it doesn't matter how he feels about it, how you feel about it is actually the more important part of the story. If you feel weird about like the face you just made, you know that's your answer.
Yeah.
I mean really, that truly is your answer, man. You gotta push through
If
it.
you built a good report, your open house, and you got that, great. You could, if you want to add them, say, hey, by the way, let's be friends on Facebook. Tap them like that and laugh
Just joke
about it.
around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll say, yeah, sure.
And they'll say
And
yes
do
or
it right
no,
there.
man.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes or no.
Yeah, so,
And that's how you want to create it.
very good. Whenever we collect a card, the gal on my team, well, we have different gals on my team doing it now from the old days, but there's a gal named Heather who's now the one that's doing this for me personally, okay? So I'll photograph these, send them to Heather. Heather puts them in Lion Desk, and then she goes to Facebook and sends a friend request. Automatically. We don't ask.
Because
I didn't ask you
here's the thing, I'll jump in what I've heard him say before, and I take it to heart now is, hey man, are you trying to run your business or trying to be everybody's friend?
Well, both.
No, you can't be. And you know that. There's only so much time you have. So what are you trying to do first? Be their friend or run a business? And the answer is run a business. Because you can help far more people by running your business professionally, and then you can be friends later.
Because this is what I just did last week. I have a bunch of brothers and sisters, so I went to all their contacts, and all my sisters and brothers' friends, I request all their friends.
Stalker, I love it.
Yeah.
And my goal was to get into 1,000 friends, so I'm at almost 900. Because I went to all my family and they're all like, well, who is she? I have a lot of people, well, who are you? Oh, I'm Ruth's sister. Oh, I love Ruth. They accepted me.
Okay, Esther, so what you just talked about, we need to spend a few minutes on. Chasing a certain number of people in each one of your databases or social media channels is brilliant, okay? This is very important. What you're doing is very, very important. So when you do your one-page business plan and put database, another number you could put there is how many do you want to have in the database at the end of the year? I'm going to show you a funny example. I don't know if any of you got this, but yesterday I had somebody no-showed on a coaching call yesterday, which is pretty normal because people are flaky, right? So I had a few minutes free. So what did I do with my few minutes free? Let me show you. I was messing around. We have a private Facebook group, right? And so, where would I find this? I'm spacey here. Here we go. So we have a private Facebook group, and I noticed that it had like, I think it was 275 members of the group that we set up, right? And we post videos and content and all this kind of stuff. You guys can certainly request me for the group if you want, because we post content, right?
I'm in.
So it's a group called Daily Coaching and Accountability with David Halpern, right? So yesterday I was just looking at a post that one of my gals posted for me in there, and I noticed on the group, let me pop up the group, that it had 275 members. And so I just sat there with my finger for 30 minutes in between coaching calls, because one great target is how many can I add to my database? Now you guys can door knock 100 doors and maybe you'll get one name, phone, and email, and that's a total waste of time, right? Or you can do it like this, and I just started sending invites, and here we are. It was 275 yesterday, it's 408 today. So I just added 133 friends or members to this private group who are getting my whatever videos and content, right? And it took me all of 25 minutes to do it. My finger got tired, and not everybody accepted, I'm sure. And if I want to invite more, I just click on invite, and I can go search friends, and here, you want to see how I do it? Here we go, ready? Invite, invite, invite. I'm not looking, I'm not trying to screen and decide who to put in there or not. I'm just going to send out as many as I can, and in the 5 minutes I have free, and it's going to grow my database. Now that's better than door knocking, I'm sorry. Fair enough?
Yeah.
You guys follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll do some more and then you'll see somebody will accept while we're here. And you're just growing your database. Okay? Because for me, I understand the importance of getting leads.
Yeah.
And most people I work with do not understand the importance of getting leads. They think getting leads is like, waiting on their you-know-what until somebody actually, walks into them. And yeah, now it's 4:09, so we just got one. I don't know who the one was. Anyway, okay, interesting. So you could put database 1,000. You could also put database 1,000 leads and 200 messages a month, like sales messages a month. Okay. How are we on time? I want to do a couple sales messages. We got a few minutes?
45, plenty.
Oh, wow.
Plenty of time.
Oh,
What time does it end?
3:30,
okay, we're good.
plenty.
So you could put both those numbers.
Let me
next
jump
to
in real quick. Did I answer your question? Did what he said answer your question?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Just add them.
it. Yeah, don't.
Go to your families too. They're
Well, it's
friends.
because sometimes I connect with whenever I see other parents or stuff that I've done before, try to connect with them, talk about kids if I see, and then it just carries the conversation. And even with my clients now, they see me more like a friend because I don't make it all realistic. They talk about them, their kids, schooling, whatever. Just so it's like that, I'm like them. That's what I want them to see.
The more powerful your personal connection is with that person, the more you're gonna get the story of the person you just talked about a couple minutes ago, that somebody didn't want to get their emails anymore, but yet called them like a couple days later and referred them to somebody. It's because you're connecting with them on a human basis, on a human level.
We're sending out direct messages all the time, like any interest in this, any interest in that. I don't care. We got one. It was my daughter had a piano teacher who helped her prepare for a competition a couple of years ago, right? And he was a great guy, and he moved to Utah or something. And for some reason, he's a Facebook friend. So he kept getting our messages, and he got all pissed off and bent out of shape by one of the messages a couple months ago. And he responded with this long-winded thing. And then I replied, I'll remove you from these databases, my apologies, hope all is well, whatever, right? But, it's all stupid. I don't care if he doesn't like it. I don't care if he doesn't like it. It's not that I don't care about, people and their wishes or whatever, but we're trying so hard to avoid no that we're successfully avoiding all the yeses. There are other people that because we were bold, because we put them in the database and sent them requests, ask to do business with us, we got deals. We're in the business of asking. The only reason realtors don't get a lot of business is they don't ask. When I say that high producers do a lot of marketing, they also ask directly a lot. When Angel goes to a listing thing, he ain't there to socialize. He's there to get it signed. Does that make sense? He's not there to like when is the right time and when have I built up enough of a rapport. Angel, he's the opposite of that actually, right?
Yeah, it's really
His style is sign, right? Don't take a lot of time, right? Okay. I'm not saying you have to be like that. I'm just saying for you, right? Okay. So for us, social media would be 300 now. An interesting thing about social media is the more you post, I know I shared this before, the more social media followers you get. So in the last 2 months we posted, last month was like 40 times to Instagram, and the month before was like, I don't remember, 25, and we never did more than 6 before, and our Instagram suddenly shot up by 700 followers. 700. Let me repeat that. Our Instagram went up by 700 followers in the last 30, 40 days. And the only thing we did was post more, and I'm not even the one doing it. Somebody on my team is copying and posting. So, listen to this carefully. We added 700 leads to one of our databases, and I didn't have to do anything. That's how you build a business. Does this make sense? And now we can send out messages through Instagram. Okay.
How often do you post? Every
We're posting 7 or 8 times a week, maybe 9, 10 maybe, to Facebook. And then I have somebody on my team who reposts all of that to Instagram, LinkedIn. We just ditched Twitter permanently, by the way. We're not going to do Twitter. And we're doing light on the business page.
You have 2 of them. Which one are you? Mastery Consulting or David Halpern?
One of them is the personal page, one of them is the business page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not following you, but I'm gonna start following you.
Okay, and the personal page is the one that makes all the money for us.
The personal one, right?
That's what I'm afraid of is we had a training where the speaker said that not to put business on a personal page.
I know,
Like
and we make all our money from the personal
That's
page anyway.
that's what
Yeah.
I feel, because people connect, obviously if you're just putting business, people are gonna get tired of it. Well, I don't know if I have two, I don't know if I should focus on the personal or do it on the business page, I'm
So-
confused.
Your choice. For me, I never had a Facebook page until I started coaching in the real estate world. And then I noticed all the realtors are weird, they're on Facebook. Every other industry is on LinkedIn, this industry is on Facebook. So I started a Facebook page for one purpose only, to get business. So my personal page is for business. When I post pictures of my wife or my daughter or
Yeah.
whatever, I'm doing it for business. I
Yeah.
know it sounds weird, but that's the
That's part of
truth.
the business.
Is that
It's the
Instagram
truth.
or Facebook?
I'm doing both.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah, Instagram is a personal page also.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, interesting stuff, huh? Good questions, very good questions. Let's talk scripts for a minute. So you need to ask. How often should you ask? Way more than you do now. Heck, we're doing 5,000 between database and social media a month. We're asking 5,000 times a month just from Lion Desk and Facebook and Instagram, whatever, might you be interested in doing this or whatever, right?
I think we've talked about that before when we ask. I know it's illegal, I'm still a little confused if we can offer them a rebate, not rebate, like incentive of $500 for any referral. Is that illegal?
You're better off asking Angel that, because I don't know.
Okay,
Um,
I've heard it is, that's why I haven't done it.
I don't know.
Where, on Facebook or where?
Your personal people, like your database people.
There's always a
Or
creative,
tax.
there's always, if it's not appropriate, I don't know to be honest with you, but if it's not appropriate, there's always a way around it. I mean,
Right.
I've got lenders that are like, I don't wanna buy marketing,
Oh, gift card.
yeah, Visa gift cards, yeah,
Wow.
and then they'll have a marketing company for you. I have
But
lenders
you can
that
only,
tell,
you can only write off, your gift card, it has to be in, what is it, $25 or $50?
Oh, $50.
that's
Is it
for,
50?
that's for
I think
write-off,
75
Yeah,
is
that's
now.
tax
that's for
purposes.
tax, yeah.
That's for tax
Yeah.
purposes.
That's important.
Not really.
Not for you, for me it is.
There's always creative ways to do so, right?
Sorry, Donna.
Think creatively, brainstorm creatively. Sit with
Right.
Angel and Patty and brainstorm creatively. There's always ways around it. There's always ways
Right.
to do it where you don't have to worry. I have lenders that tell realtors, use me and I'll pay for Dave's, and I'll pay for Dave's database and social media for a year, or whatever. And,
Right.
and why is that not a problem? Because, basically I'm getting paid for the social media from the same guy that's paying me for coaching, and I just send him an invoice for coaching or for product or whatever. It doesn't have
Right.
anything to do with that person or whatever. I'm a coach, I'm not regulated, I can do whatever. So there's always creative ways around it, doesn't have to involve
Right.
me, but Okay, let's talk about scripts. You guys wanna see some crazy stuff?
Yes.
So this is one of our, if you do the social media product with us, we do stuff like this. I know it's cheesy, but it works. Here you go, ready? Yeah, if you want fancy, elegant looking marketing, go waste your money with, anyway, I won't mention names in your industry. We'll take $1,000 a month for your 1,500, you'll never get any deals, but you'll look nice. So Susan Jones is a private coaching client. Okay, and here's her social media, we do stuff for her. And here's one of our posts, ready? Tuesday, October 29th. Unfortunately, because I guess our gal who posts this for her is not located in this state, we posted at 11:59 p.m. on a Tuesday night, okay? And the post was, we don't care, we just need it done, right? We promise we'll post. We didn't say when we'll post, right? Are you renting? DM me, like direct message me, your monthly rent amount, and I will personally send you a list of homes that you can own for that exact amount.
I've seen that post.
Interesting.
Okay? So this went up at midnight. Okay? You want to see the replies?
How many,
Here we go. These are the replies.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
What did it say again? Sorry, I missed it.
What do you
Personal
pay
fee.
in your rent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you pay, how much you pay in rent?
Is this what I'm saying?
Send me what you pay and I will send you homes that will equal that amount.
Oh, wow, that's genius.
Yeah.
And these people just started putting
Oh,
the rent
yeah.
amounts, 2,500,
Yeah,
direct
750.
message, 750, 1,200,
700.
1650,
Amazing.
2220, right?
900.
Interesting.
Brilliant. Who were playing
1,400,
that?
1,500, 1,300. I'm
Can
just
I see the
tons
post?
of replies.
Where did you post that?
Facebook.
I know, but like,
On
just
there,
on your
you know how
timeline?
You know how he posts,
Follow
he helps
him.
people post, like if he's helping you post, he would send it to all your people.
What does it say? I will send you what?
A list.
And I'll send you a list of properties that you can own for the same dollar amount or something. What
What's
was
the
it?
whole thing?
Where did I put it? What did I do?
I feel like I'll get a lot of like 1,200, 1,300, 1,600, 1,700.
1,500, 2,400.
Look, and
Send them
you probably
to
know me well
life.
enough to know, I don't really care if this is the right script, the best script, the
But you
worst
sent
script.
something.
It's a script,
A
and we use all scripts.
Right.
You follow me? So you have to do this one sometime. Why? Because. That's the reason why. Just
Now,
because,
do you
'cause you're a marketer.
respond to everyone?
To all of these?
Yeah.
My favorite response to this is when are you available to chat, or when are you available to meet? Or
Okay.
are you available tomorrow at 3 o'clock or Friday at 4 o'clock to grab a cup
Okay.
of coffee, or for me to come over to me to swing by your house and bring you a little present.
Can we see what's the whole thing on there? It says,
That you can own for that exact amount. Okay, let me give you another script we use that gets a lot of leads, right? I like the "Are you still renting?" That's a fun one. If down payment or credit were not an issue, would you buy a home?
I like
Oh, I like
If
that
down
one.
payment or credit were not an issue, you can do this for post, you can do this for Facebook Messenger, you can do this for Instagram, or if you want to pay us to do it, we just do it for you anyway. You don't have to do it, right? You don't have to remember these things. If down payment or credit were not an issue, right? Would you buy a home? So I'm coaching somebody in Chino Hills who tells me, Dave, our market's a little, most people here are already homeowners, there's not so many credit problems, I don't think that's a good script for me. And I said, okay, I got a script for you. Ready? Here's the script for the snobs, okay? Okay, if down payment were not an issue, would you consider purchasing investment property sometime in the future?
True.
You'll get a lot of yeses from that one. You're gonna get a lot of yeses from that one anyway, no matter what market you're in.
Yeah.
If down payment were not an issue, would you consider purchasing an investment property someday in the future? Who's gonna say no to that one? And you're gonna get a bunch of conversations. I mean, when people say, my pipeline's slow or whatever, it's not that the pipeline's slow, it's that you're slow,
Yeah.
right? Okay, our favorite real estate script, so we got two more testimonials from the Remax I just came from. One, her name is Meng, and the other one was, who was the other one from this morning? Oh, Sylvia Latios. So Sylvia said she got 3 leads from our text message we just sent out for her, and the text message was my favorite, it's the basic one. Hi Sue, any interest in buying or selling a home or investment property, in parentheses, smiley face, sometime in the future, right? That's my favorite go-to script. Who was it I was talking to yesterday? Oh, Kaylin Borrego. Kaylin is Remax Masters, Pastora's office. So Kaylin tells me yesterday on a coaching call, this is what she told me. She just started our social media product with us 3 weeks ago. She got a refile, I'm sorry. Yeah. The social media product, so as part of the product, we send out the messages through Facebook Messenger, one by one, right? So the message, she got 1 hot lead from the message, right, for a buyer. But what she was telling me about, she's like, that was awesome. She said, what was really awesome is my Instagram has 100 more followers in 3 weeks.
What?
And all we've been doing is posting 4 times a week.
What's her name?
Kaylin Borrego.
Kaylin Borrego.
Borrego. She had 30 followers. You can check her out. She had 30 followers, she said, 3 weeks ago, and she has 130 now. That's what she told me yesterday on my coaching call. Interesting. 100. Well, remember, we increased our Instagram by 700 last month. We posted 34 times or something last month, so it's kind of like maybe one per day, a little more than one per day. Okay? And that increased our followers by 700, from 1,500 to 2,200 now on our Instagram. Is that crazy? Did I show you guys the Shade Room, that crazy company with the 16 million? No?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So I coach someone who owns a media company. Her name is Angie Wangu, and you need to see this. It's freaky. You ever, it's like, it's fun when I coach somebody and I'm taking more notes than my client is. That's when I know I'm in trouble, right? So Angie, let me see if I can find this for you. I got introduced to Angie by Mark, a guy who comes to my house every month. He's a CPA. He's 35 years old. Okay. Let's find this thing here. So on October 4th, it'll take me a while to get to October 4th, I go to her office and I have my first coaching session with Angie. Where am I? October 14th, almost. It's worth showing you, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. Here's Angie. Okay, this is Angie, and it's called the Shade Room. You ever heard of the Shade Room? No.
The shade room?
Yeah. Is that familiar? No? Okay. This is Angie. She's the owner-founder, right? She started the company 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
The
Okay.
shade room.
The Shade Room. Okay, pull up the Shade. If you have your phones, go to Instagram and pull up the Shade Room, and you'll see the logo TSR. And tell me how many followers she has.
Oh, 16.8.
16.8 million followers.
On Facebook, right?
That's
No,
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
On Facebook, she's got they have a business page, and it's like 5 million or 4.
Is it
Yeah,
the shade
4.1.
The Shade Room. You want to see something really
And
weird?
what is that about?
It's basically
Vegas?
black women culture.
Is that in Vegas?
The Shade Room? No. It's basically
Black women culture.
It's basically like she calls it
What'd you say?
He said it's basically black
women.
women
And it's
culture.
no, that's what she calls it. It's
And I
black
said,
women
okay, I love it.
culture and humor, right? It's like current affairs, humor. It's sort
Yeah.
basically she says she doesn't like this, but she says they're called the Black TMZ. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to show you this. This was my post with Angie on October 4th. Please check this out.
That brought you up.
So this is a month and a half ago,
Yeah.
and I posted that she had 16.5 million Instagram followers. How many does she have now?
LGBT, you said? No, she has
No,
no
just black.
16.8.
Now she has 16.8. So they've added 300,000 Instagram followers since October 4th.
What?
How did she do it? You asked. I asked you a question. How did they add 300,000 Instagram followers in 7 weeks?
How?
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me when was the last post
10 minutes ago.
and the one before that
17.
and the one before that
An hour.
and the one before that
An hour.
An hour.
and the one before that
2.
and the one before that.
3.
How many
3.
times a day do they post? Take a guess.
Every hour
She's
twice.
every 15 minutes.
About 50 on average per day.
Wow.
Now,
Oh, sounds exhausting.
if you want to do
If you're doing
lead
it by yourself.
generation,
Just hiring somebody.
if you want to do lead generation better than anybody in the freaking industry, by
Gotta hire
far,
someone.
10x.
forget about door knocking, total waste of time. You got to do 100 doors to get one card, right? Post more on social media. The end. And watch your numbers go crazy. Esther, were you listening?
Yes.
You want to take your Facebook up from 1,000 to 2,000?
I love the
Post 10 times a day and watch what happens.
The
Watch-
dimple one.
What in the
No, what?
world?
The dimpler, the doctor who
Times a day. Oh
I'm addicted to her. That's why when you told me to look Instagram, see how addicted I am with that. Popular dimpler.
But
What is that?
what she
That's
realized
not-
was because they were posting so frequently, people
What do
people
they post?
started.
Anything?
It's called
What they're doing?
It's
So
pop
it's like
culture.
a TMZ.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
this
pop
is my
culture.
lunch.
All
So you
social
should do a
media.
Spanish TMZ one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like they'll post like what's going on with Kanye and his new
Right.
album, and they'll post what's happening with Kim and him, and what's if there's
Not
something
even
with the
her
impeachment. It's
information.
anything that has
Yeah.
relevance for black women.
Not
Right.
even her info, she's
Oh.
just grabbing it from every
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Let's go for the
Yeah.
Latino
Now they do
power.
breaking stories themselves. They now have news people on their
Yeah.
staff that are seeking stories, and they have a lot of connections now. But it's interesting.
Colombian.
The purpose of this
Nicaragua.
conversation was post more, get more leads.
Yeah,
That's another strategy for social media. Interesting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens now that we have 2,200 on Instagram instead of 1,500? Well, we can send more messages out to get more clients.
But that you would have to definitely hire someone for that.
Part-time.
Virtual assistant.
For a couple $100 a month or whatever you're willing to pay for it,
Right.
because it's easy to hire these things. You guys are, your problem is you think like realtors, and a realtor's like, I can't afford $5,000 a month for a full-timer who does 42 things. But who said you're supposed to do it that way? And you're like, I can't afford $1,500 a month for something. Who said you have to do it that way? Right? You can hire somebody for $200 a month to go do postings for you. You can find 100 people that you know already to do that for you. Think about it. Seriously. 10 people? Everybody in this room's got 5 to 10 people that would do social media posts for you right now. Right? I'm just saying. And you can pay them less than you think. Okay. So scripts are important because you want a variety of different things to send out periodically. Like just to give you an example, on our database program, what we do right now is we do 2 texts and 2 emails per month. So there's a weekly message that goes out. One of those 4 is a direct ask for business. If you're in the program, you might want to get leads in there, Mark, because today's the 20th. Tomorrow is the day of the direct ask. November 21st is a text message that literally says, "Hi Sue, any interest in buying or selling a home or investment property sometime in the future?" It's going out to everybody that's in our database program. Interesting?
Mm-hmm.
So in the next few days, because Landis technology is a little so-so at times, so sometimes it takes 48, 72 hours.
What
till
if
the
they're
damn
already
thing
in
goes out,
escrow?
Right?
How do you distinguish? No, doesn't
We don't.
matter?
It doesn't matter.
We don't. we
Okay.
You guys have gotten, like, I have people that are privately coaching with me, and we send them messages, "Hey, any interest in one-on-one coaching?"
Oh,
And they're like, "Dude, I'm already doing it with you." I'm like, "I know.
okay.
I ain't checking them.
Just
We're
wanted
not
to
gonna
know
spend
if you were
time
listening.
screening the name.
Oh.
We're not gonna spend 2 hours pulling out names. That's a negative return on investment activity.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Does that make sense? It's not gonna make us any money, and we're gonna spend
You
time
don't
doing it.
move them to another.
I know you don't
Heck
move
no.
it to a certain
You
bucket.
don't move it to another column.
Heck no, we don't have time for that crap. We're
Right.
building. We're building, and if you have a problem with it, no problem. We got more clients to replace you with.
Mhm.
That's how you. I'm not meaning
Right.
to sound facetious or callous. I
Right.
just mean
Yeah.
we're supposed to build a business. Jeff Bezos doesn't care if you buy from Amazon right now. He's got 1 billion people buying from you, right? Okay. On the social media program, we do 2 things. Number 1 is every other Thursday we post a direct message to ask for leads. We do it automatically. And we send messages through Facebook Messenger on your behalf. Interesting? And then Instagram when we're done with the Facebook, once we get through all of the names.
So on social media, you are specifically taking out realtors or any affiliates?
No,
No.
No.
So they get the marketing too?
who gives a crap?
They're not gonna do it anyway. You give them the whole.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
your
Stop
mistake
worrying
for
about that
making
crap.
friends
Just
with
do
so
it.
many competitors.
Just do it.
They're not gonna do it.
I'm not, I didn't take my page and start making friends with every coach. I mean,
Why not?
I do
What?
coach 2 coaches, but,
Yeah.
but I'd be, you know,
Right.
again, my Facebook page is for business. I'm not doing it to socialize. It doesn't mean I don't post stuff that's personal on there, I do, right? But I don't really care, I'm using it for business.
Yeah.
Interesting? Okay. I don't know if any of that was too out there for you or whatever.
It's good.
It's interesting.
When you say 2 texts and 2 emails per month, how many times do you ask?
One of those 4. So
One of, just one, no?
we
one
ask
text
just
and
one
one-
time.
Oh.
But I tell people that are in our program, you can send more out too. You can even call us to send more out on your behalf. You can call anytime you want. We can send out videos and photographs and just listeds and just sold and open house. I tell people, like, don't call us up and say, "I have an open house tomorrow, can you post for me?" You know how many freaking people we're serving in this program? Do some advanced time on it, right? For Pete's sakes, right? Do the right thing here. I tell people, I don't care.
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
care if they're paying us. I'm like, you gotta do the right thing here, right? You know, you have a few days notice for Pete's sakes. This is not like, yeah.
Does it matter how many contacts you have, or
No,
it's just,
the more is better. Okay, Christian Fuentes, if you know him, he just joined our database program and just gave us 14,000 leads to input manually.
Sounds about right for him.
What?
We charge him how much to do that? Zero.
Nothing?
Nothing. We do it as part of the program.
Part of the thing.
14,000 we're putting in name by name for manually.
He's doing your data?
And we're not charging him any more than we're charging anybody else for.
Remember we
It's
talked
probably
about that?
in the
Told you
city
to do that? Remember that?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I think he's got leads from all of his, he's been doing Zillow
Yeah.
and direct mail for years, so he's got a ton of leads. But he's never marketed to him,
Which is insane.
which is insane, right?
Because the volume of business that guy does on new business is crazy compared to all the old business and the past business he done. He doesn't really go back. No one from his team goes back and does any of that kind of stuff.
How much transactions is he doing?
A shitload.
Almost like
He's,
Angel.
he's down this
Yeah.
year. He did 49
Angel's
million
good at
last
new
year.
business.
He's
49
doing
million.
last year.
Yeah.
This year he's down.
He's down this year because
Oh.
he tried to do the TV thing
Yeah.
and tried to spent way too much focus and time on that, honest, and he'll tell you just privately, not to everybody, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
he will
yeah.
tell you privately he spent too much time doing that. He was did too much looking for flip stuff, and then revamped his business, and spent a lot of time trying to figure out what kind of business they're trying to run now and where they're trying to go. So it looked to him to explode next year because he did a lot of thinking time this year with the wife and really coming up with their strategy and game plan and trying to pick up the right kind of realtor for their office versus just numbers. They want numbers too, but more
Getting the
better,
right people in.
Does
more
he-
better selected.
Is that 49 million a team or himself?
It's team.
It's a team.
It's
How
a
many
team.
people do
But
you
he's
have?
the,
on this
he's the only producer
He's the only
on
person on the team,
record,
that's
but he's
the
got
thing.
like 7 or 8 people working.
Like how much to give me comparable? How much million does Angel do?
That doesn't matter.
Angel did 109 transactions
Yeah,
last year.
he usually
something
does
like
about
that.
100 between an angel usually does 105 to 110.
The
It's been
difference
like
with the
15.
Angel is that those are truly his because he lets us all put our numbers on our own. So Kevin has his own numbers, Keith has his own numbers,
Oh, yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
has his own numbers, so those are
That's
truly
true.
his numbers.
Yes,
Which
that's
is
just him by
amazing.
himself,
Which
which
is
is
Yeah,
very
that's just
impressive.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
what,
fine, yeah.
around here, 50, 60
Because most
million in
people,
volume. It's very
like if we
volume.
put all
right?
of us on there, then it would be huge, bigger, because then it would be like all of us
The whole
together.
team.
Yeah.
Right, he
Yeah.
lets us all own our own,
Do our own.
which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a good example.
True.
But it's all about marketing, right? He's not door knocking. He's not
No.
cold calling. I mean,
No.
for Pete's sakes, I don't know why
I try to
everybody's
make
teaching
him go
that.
door
crap.
knocking with me.
Yeah.
I said, I'll go door knocking, but come with me because I need like some bait.
He's investing in marketing. I mean, he's treating it like a business, right? He's reinvesting. I mean, he didn't start by doing that. He started the old-fashioned
But
way.
hard work.
Is that
Can you imagine taking Angel door knocking?
it's not
Like,
even
hello,
hard
it's like
work.
guaranteed.
It's not hard work.
Guaranteed
Be
business.
like, Angel, today we're listing this whole block.
It's hard.
It is hard
He
work,
just
but
doesn't
it's
have
not
time.
hard work. It's
Yeah.
actually really just focus and
Yeah.
dedication.
Yeah.
Because really, going back to Tim Ferriss earlier, that guy promotes a, hey man, work 4 hours a week, really. Work an hour a day, maybe. I mean, it's really not necessarily hard work. It's
He
being
delegates
it's
everything,
being strategic on what you're doing.
Virtual assistants.
I mean, you know, Christian will tell you that dude did work hard for Mark and Al back in the old days for 5 years and made jack squat. I mean, because Mark and Al are dicks. I mean, and they underpaid their assistants, and everybody in the industry knows who they are and that they
Yeah.
underpay. That guy put the hard knocks in. And he also made a bunch of mistakes as well. You know, but it is really just getting to that next level of, okay, hey, I need to put signs out, but is it going to be more effective for me to spend $100 and have somebody do signs for me, or me to do it? And what else could I be doing in that time? You know, can you do your own TC work? Sure you can, but should you? No. It's really taking a step back and really looking at what you do and what you're good at. Should you know how the TC work should be done? Yes. Should you know how a contract should be written? Yes. That makes you better. You get smarter. You get more confident. But really, leveraging your time is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Be smart about it. I mean, everybody here could really kick ass at their business 4 hours a day. You guys can make $200 or $300 a year easy.
That's what I've always said.
4 hours. Take 4 hours today. Don't fuck around. Do what you're supposed to do because you know what to do in those 4 hours. You'll be phenomenal. Phenomenal.
But solid 4 hours.
Solid 4 hours.
Solid,
Not
no.
oh, I'm gonna go talk to him for a half hour. Hey, cool. Talk to them for a half hour, but work 4 hours. Work 4 hours.
You're saying 4 hours and that's it?
4 hours,
Yes.
that's it, yes. You
And
can
but
work
you
5
know-
hours a day.
But 4 hours door knocking,
prospecting.
4
Yeah.
hours
4 hours
cold calling,
It's solid.
4 hours doing
4 hours.
But it doesn't mean work for hours, it's 4 hours prospecting.
Prospecting.
solid,
Solid.
no
prospecting.
interruption, no,
Anything.
But not 4 hours just working, like not, but it's
no,
4 hours.
not getting
concept,
ready for
yeah.
it.
Admin
Like
stuff
no
doesn't count.
transaction.
Admin.
Admin
no.
stuff doesn't count. Writing a contract doesn't count. That's no. That's not,
Prospecting,
that's the
following
bribe.
up.
And
That's
it's
a
not 4 hours
byproduct.
of work and that's it,
No,
it's just
no.
4 hours of prospect.
And following up.
Yeah,
No,
well,
no.
that's-
Actually, it is 4 hours. Actually, 4 hours. That's it. And then you get to do whatever the hell you want after the 4 hours is over.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's
But-
like
but
4
you-
hours
but
and then
you-
personal?
And then you're done. But
I don't know.
the part everybody doesn't get is
Nobody's prospecting the solid
So
4
I
hours.
did that one year with Dan, and it worked because I was in Norwalk, had to pick my kids up in Whittier by 1:30. So I would be the first one there at 8:30, start
Yeah.
cold calling, and I would do that every day, and results came in,
Cold
Yeah.
calling.
When you don't have time, you don't have
Yeah.
time, and you make it happen.
and it
anyway.
worked, and it really does work. We've known that for 20 years. It's just people can't. They don't understand. That's all I've always said. That's all we need.
it's having the.
But it's consistency every day.
Consistency.
Think of it like this, guys. Everybody has worked the day before they go on vacation or a trip or something where they're going to be tied up for a day, 2
Yes.
days, whatever it is.
Right?
The way that you think, the way that you operate, the way that you're focused, the way that you're determined the day before you leave vacation,
Yes.
that's what it's about. That's what Tim Ferriss talks about.
You're
is
right.
If you take that mentality and you can do that every day, you can work 4
And
hours.
your phone
and
rings.
That's it.
People say, I want to list my house. And you're all like, I'm getting on a plane right now. Because I think what he said prior to that, those days, you're like just working,
You have a
following
sense
up,
of
calling
urgency.
everybody, I'm going to be out. Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm not going to be available for 5 days. I got to do all this. And it seems like you throw that energy
You
out
talked
or
about that a
something,
few weeks ago.
because it
many leads
seems
you get
like
that day?
people
Do you
are
remember that?
calling you and
Which-
saying,
which
hey,
day?
I want to buy
I
this
don't know.
house. Hey,
Which
I
day?
want to
You
list
tell
my
me.
house. It never
It was about 3
fails.
weeks ago.
That's
You
right.
were
So
on
there's something
fire on
about that.
Saturday and
There is.
Sunday.
So like he said, you have to have that mentality every day as you're going on vacation.
That's right.
It really
it's,
does
it's a
work.
daily urgency, right? It's a daily
Yes.
urgency. You have to come in here with here's what I've got to do. We're okay for a few minutes. So let me touch this one, because this was our conversation at the office I was in this morning, or a couple hours ago. So, what is the right mindset for 2020, they said? And I said, the right mindset, there is no stupid, it's just, the right mindset for today is the right
For
mindset,
today,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the right mindset for today? The right mindset for today is the moment you show up to the office, you're nervous. And the reason you're nervous is because you only have so many hours and you've got to knock out 1 or 2 or 3 things. And the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you have to knock out today should be the same ones every day. That's why you make this marketing plan of how many of this or that I need to do for each of my channels. So I'm telling you right now, if I have to do 80 speaking events, then I know today I need to book or whatever, 1 speaking event or something. And I know that in my database, we have to send out X number of messages. Or the example I've used with you before is, I'll just show you. Every morning we do this. Oh, here, just as we're talking, 2 minutes ago, Roz texts me because she just closed something. Greg Prado, I just met Greg Prado, signed up for the database. This is 3 minutes ago. She has to text it to me with the flame emojis, because how have you ever sent a text without flame? But this morning, I text her, here's how much hit the bank account this month, and what we're on pace for, with flames, of course. And then she texts me at 7:18 in the morning, here are my priorities for today, 6,139, all follow-up. Number 1, Trent Holloway, 597. Number 2, Susie Trinidad, 650. Number 3, Adrian Insane, blah, blah, blah. It's her list of targets. And then her goal for today, she put 2,500, right? And then she texts me as she closes deals. So she woke up this morning, she's like, I gotta get to 2,500. I don't care if it's November 20th, Wednesday or whatever. I gotta close 2,500 somehow. Where do I find it from? What can I do? What can I sell?
2,500 deals?
$2,500. That's her target that she
Dollars.
created for today,
Dollar.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Self-service.
whatever her
day.
number is.
Our
Well, every day she has different numbers, so
Okay.
like, there were some bigger numbers earlier this month or whatever, but that's
Right.
what she wants
Okay,
to do,
got it.
right? But I texted her this morning, that, could we do 26,000 in the last 5 days, because there are only 5 more bank deposit days this month. It's it's the shortest month of the year because of the holiday and whatever, right?
Right.
So my question for you is, when you show up in the morning, what are the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you have to do before you go home? And don't answer the question, because whatever you're gonna say, I know is wrong. Okay?
Yes.
So let me give you a couple recommendations on what it could be.
Okay.
Before you go home?
Examples.
Everyone
What
should,
when I
everyone should
come
write
in
this
here,
down.
what do I have to get done
Seriously.
before I go home today? And it could be 2 or 3 or 4 things, but it should be stuff that actually moves the needle. It should be stuff like, you know, number 1, got 5 new names and phone numbers for my database would not be a bad one, because I got a key or 3 or something like that. Another one, number 2 could
You
be
should write that down.
send out 100 messages to create new leads. Why wouldn't you guys do 100 a day? Forget about cold calling. Cold calling is a waste of time. Why don't you get on Facebook and send 100 messages with a script? And stop worrying what they say. Because for every negative one you're gonna get a positive one, you have a lead. Now you got a lead, and they're warm, and you know them. Right? I mean, geez. And maybe another one is attend or book 1 appointment a day. Or 2 appointments a day would be nice. Most of you, if it was 1, it would be a major,
How about
major
one a
upgrade.
week? How about one a week?
Yeah.
How about
Yeah,
that?
but 1 a day. I cannot go home until I book or attend 1 appointment a day. Right?
One prequel.
That would change your business forever.
Yeah.
So you've got to come in with something like that. It could be also something like I got to move something that's already in my pipeline. I got to get it to the next place.
Right.
Whatever that means. You know your process. I don't really care about your process, right? It could be,
It's true.
honestly, you
It's
know?
true.
It's just, I don't care if your project is widgets. I don't care if it's golf balls. It doesn't matter to me. It's a business. It's the same funnel.
Yes, it's the same
You're
exact
overthinking
thing.
it, right?
It's, I'm gonna go back to what I said a couple minutes ago, guys. With the way that you feel, the way that you're thinking about that, the day before vacation, are you fired up about something? Do you feel it inside? That's the type of feeling that you need to have every day to get done in a specified period of time. When there's a deadline, you actually work much better when you have a deadline versus no deadline. Okay, that's key. I mean, whatever your deadline is, your brain doesn't know if it's an imaginary deadline or an actual real deadline you're gonna die. Your brain actually will help you work the same way. Okay? That's actually super key, is having an actual deadline. Writing a deadline down that, hey, I have to call 1 person, I have to book 1 appointment before I go home today. Okay? That will help you.
That should be our last thing in our calendar to see before we leave.
What if you came to work and said, you know, here are my 4 things for today, and I'm going to go home the moment it's finished. I'm going to try to get home by 1. Watch how fast you move.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaky, or whatever. Just say.
Write it down.
Yeah.
It's powerful, guys. You think it's funny, but I'm telling you, there's so many studies that have been done. It's been proven that if you write those 5 things down, 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, whatever the number of things you need to get done
You're
for
right.
that day, you can start at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you're done at 8:30 in the morning, boom, go home.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
And you
you're
feel
done.
good when you go home.
You feel accomplished. I mean, there's been times the last few months where I've gotten home like at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'm actually done for the day. It's crazy. I feel weird about it too. Don't get me wrong. I feel weird about it. I might get an occasional call from an agent, from a client at night, but that's fine. But I'm home. And I actually got whatever process done, whatever I was supposed to need to get done for the day is done. And it's like, okay, well, let's stop thinking that, I need to work 15 hours today. Let's think, hey, I gotta get these 10 things done. If I'm done at noon, I'm done. Write it down. I'm telling you, write it down.
I agree with you 1,000%.
So let's just, if you want, again, the sales funnel is pretty simple. Number 1, you got to get more leads. That should be part of the daily activity. Number 2 is you got to warm them up with content, which could mean sending out a video or a photo to people in your database. It could mean posting something on social media, right? So number 2 is you got to warm them up. Number 3 is you got to ask. You got to do any of these cheesy scripts to go create, and get new inbound hot leads. That's it.
How
That's
do we
it.
get
That's-
those scripts?
I gave you a couple of them a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah,
Hey, Sue,
but
any
that's
interest in
not
Myers?
enough.
I can do, if you guys want.
Oh, I like that, Gisela. Give me some. I like that. Yes, I like that. I like
If you
that.
guys would like, we could do, well, you can do our program. If you guys would like, next month we can do maybe more time on scripts.
Yeah.
And just kind of come up with some.
Yes, because everybody thinks that's the magic cure-all.
It's not.
Yeah, it's like,
no
should I
shit.
should I put this?
So how about this one for you? Our favorite script is repeating the same script over and over and over again. So you can hit the same database with the same script all year long, it doesn't matter.
Right.
How long if you remember Tom Ferry's old Facebook post about our average person earns 400 something K GCI.
Still uses it.
It's still the
Yeah.
same one.
Just saw it like
Same
2 weeks
one,
ago.
right?
Still uses it.
It's the same thing. So we've been using only 2 scripts. We're just using you know what? Our best script is still hi Sue. Any interest in one-on-one coaching? Best business coaching.
Short and simple is the
That's
best.
our script. So we could go back to it now. The only reason we're doing the database one is because my calendar's so crammed, right? But we could go back to the coaching script, right? We can go back to the coaching script and create leads. And we'll get leads for our products anyway from it, you know? So you can use those kind of scripts. Hey Sue, any interest in purchasing? Have you considered any interest in purchasing investment property sometime in the next 10
Yeah,
years?
I got it.
Send that out. Hey Sue, have you given up on your dream of buying or selling a home? And you're thinking, yeah, but most of the people in my database don't want to buy or sell right now. So what? Maybe I have a
Send it
friend that
anyway.
wants to right now. What are you overthinking it for? You know, again, stop
That's me.
trying to look good in the eyes of other people. It is incompatible with building a great business.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Be yourself. Think about Trump. How hard is it to be president? Whether you like him or hate him. Because you know, there's no in between. You either like him or you hate him, right?
Yeah.
So is it safe to say if you're gonna be a great leader and build something spectacular, you're gonna get lovers and haters? Well, like Trump or not, welcome to the world of business. That's what it's like to build a business.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna please everyone. If you do wanna please everyone, you'll never grow. Because all you'll do is not pull the trigger all the time.
He's like smart about it though. That's the crazy thing. It's like everything I feel like he's just like he's doing it intentionally to create.
Buzz.
He's kind of, if you think about it, in a way, it's his business background coming
Yes,
out
it's the
in a
marketing.
weirdly
Yeah,
different
it is.
industry, right? So
He's a
you've got,
marketer.
his business background is, basically, it's exactly what we've been talking about all along. I don't care what people think, I'm gonna keep building,
Keep talking.
okay? And I'm gonna say the craziest stuff, even if it rubs people wrong or offends them or whatever, because it captures attention and gets me more, I mean, look, he's
It
used
gets
to
me more eyeballs.
he's used
It
to
ge-
entertainment.
It gets me more eyeballs on my product.
It
That's
was
it.
right from his TV show, from traveling and doing success seminars.
Yeah.
He's just thinking like a businessman, and maybe it doesn't
And it
work for
works,
half of
yeah.
that world, right? And maybe it doesn't work for half the people, but this is his mindset, and so like him or hate him, apply his mindset in business to your business.
Yeah.
I mean, oh holy moly, right? I'm not saying be a jackass to people. He does some things I'm not, right?
Yeah.
But I am saying
Something.
something. But what I am
90%
saying.
of the team.
But what I am saying is, put yourself for a minute, like him or hate him, put yourself in his shoes and what he and his family have had to go through, honestly. And think about that for a minute, right? And all the accusations and the threats and everybody's saying you're gonna be in jail.
And hate-
Okay,
yeah.
this job is no frickin' fun, okay? But he's got the thick skin to say, I don't care, I'm gonna focus on vision, I'm gonna surround myself with the, maybe the yes people or whatever to make myself feel, but this is what you need to do in business. This is business we're talking about, right?
Mhm.
You've gotta surround yourself with people that only make you stronger,
You know?
because you're gonna take incoming, okay? You're gonna take incoming. I had a customer complaint call that I had to deal with personally on Monday. I never deal with them anymore, I have other people deal with them. But there was one, it got to a point I needed to get involved in it or whatever. I didn't wanna deal with it anymore, right? But it's fine, it's no big deal. And I didn't get mad at him, I just looked at him through eyes of empathy. Clearly there's a reason why he's been out of shape about stuff, right? Or whatever. Usually it has nothing to do with us, it has to do with, they got something else going on that we don't know about or whatever. I mean, it's the way it is.
Yeah.
Can you tolerate rejection? Can you tolerate unsubscribes? If nobody unsubscribed from your database today, you are not in business. If nobody unsubscribed or rejected your sales pitch yesterday, you didn't open the doors yesterday. Stop trying to avoid no. Your objective in business is not to avoid no. Your objective in business is to get yeses and nos. Okay? Okay, let's do takeaways and wrap up here. One idea that caught your attention the most today, Donna.
I like the post,
Good,
sending out those little, messages with questions.
good. Create leads. And by the way, if you put it out and you got no leads, what do you do next week or 2 weeks later? Put another one out. Who cares? Right? Good.
Me,
Or a different one.
put a number on your marketing channel.
Put a number, an activity number. Excellent. Good. Mark?
I like that one too. Chase the number. Pick the number and then chase that number.
Chase the number. I want 80 speaking events next year. Actually, what I really want, honestly, but we can't do it, is I want 4 a week, which would be about 160. Okay? but our calendar won't allow it right now. So we gotta move the calendar in the direction so that in 2021, we're doing 160 speaking events. Because speaking events for us are the bomb. So, but this is the way, I'm not talking about my business, I'm talking about yours. You gotta take the thing that works and you gotta start growing it, right? Okay, takeaways.
Same thing like the marketing channels
Good, marketing channels.
and putting a number to it.
Okay, great.
Exactly, that,
Same.
I did that. So now I have numbers next to everything I wanna do.
Let's hope for everybody the numbers are quite a bit bigger than this year's numbers.
Right.
Otherwise,
And it's mostly being consistent for me.
Good.
I mean, I have them, I just gotta do it consistently. That's
Sweet.
just it.
good, that's good.
Just double down on what I'm doing and,
Yes.
I'm trying to get more open houses, so I'm trying to do 6 a week. So
If you're good at it.
just throwing out that net,
Very good,
yell and
very good.
I'll say, put a number to an activity too.
Put a number to an activity, good.
Also numbers and
Because they
pretty
want
much
you to
just
track
send it, like you said, even if it's the same thing over and over.
You need to know why you're doing it.
6%.
Cause like we get them like from Amazon and everyone else, it's the same shit. And I delete them, but I see Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
Seeing the name.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, hope it was helpful today, huh?
Yes.
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 Brandon,